Hey, what's up people? Piz out here, and today I want to talk to you guys about the Scream Factory Blu-ray DVD Combo Pack Collector's Edition release of The Burning. Now, The Burning is one of those movies that my love and adoration for has been well documented on this channel. I've talked about it a lot. It is, I think, about as close to a perfect slasher movie as you possibly can get, and by that I mean there are several tenets that every great slasher movie needs. One, for me, is always good characters, and characters that either you like and that you want to see survive and that you hate to see die, or characters that you hate and you cannot wait to see die. The Burning in particular, the characters, they're all really memorable. I mean, you've got young cast members like Jason Alexander, Fisher Stevens, Holly Hunter has a very, very small part. I think she's got like 1 or 2 lines of dialogue. But just all the characters in the film all together. Glazer, Sally, you know, all these characters in the film are just really well defined. I think really well written. There's a lot of great camp shenanigans, just fun times going on in the movie. You really like most of the characters in the movie, and it makes you feel something for them when they do get pretty brutally butchered. Of course, number 2 in this movie has this element in spades. Great kills, super bloody kills, super gory kills. 2 words, Raft Massacre. In my opinion, the greatest slash sequence in slasher movie history. And so much of that it can be contributed to, well, number 1, I think Tony Malin, the director, who shot particularly the Raft Massacre scene with just such, you know, there's such beauty in the just the ferocity of that sequence. It was so beautifully constructed and executed, along with Tom Savini's just great special effects, great physical effects in the film. Love that sequence. So many great slash sequences in this movie. Super bloody, just great. Number 3, of course, you've got to, you know, a lot of slashers with the, you know, you've got to have the TNA prerequisite. This movie definitely touches on that. It's pretty fast-paced. It's got a cool killer in it. It's just got all the elements that make a great slasher movie, particularly a great 80s slasher movie. It's not self-aware at all. It's just so just beautifully cavalier in its sort of, you know, unabashed, I don't know, when I talk about slasher movies of this era, you know, the only word that really seems to make sense to me is a purity. A very strange purity that comes along with a lot of these great classic 80s slasher films, and The Burning is no exception. The story is basically about the Cropsey urban legend, which was popular, may still be popular in the Northeast. Just a campfire story about this crazy guy killing people, and basically it takes place at this camp. We're introduced to the caretaker named Cropsey, who's he's supposedly not a very nice guy. He picks on the counselor, or the kids at the camp, and so the kids decide to retaliate against him. This leads to Cropsey being burnt beyond recognition, horrible 3rd-degree burns, totally destroying his face and his body. And after 5 years, he goes back to the camp in seeking just bloody vengeance, which he manages to get, but not on. One of the things that's always struck me weird about this movie is none of the characters, I mean, the characters in this movie are killed with such a ferocious brutality, but none of them are really responsible for Cropsey's, you know, for Cropsey being burned alive. So I mean, that's a whole other element that's added to the movie. God, I just love this movie so much. When I think of 80s slasher movies, this is the one that always stands out to me. This is one of my all-time favorite 80s slasher movies, if not quite possibly my favorite 80s slasher movie, for all those reasons. As I said, great cast, memorable characters. It's really well shot. It's stylishly directed. There's some day for night photography in the movie that's not really done well, but I mean, I think that was more, you know, due to budget and time constraints than anything else. I do think the director, Tony Maylam, did add a lot of style to the movie. A lot of the kills are orchestrated really well, and I think, you know, that can also be attributed to Tom Savini, who did the special makeup effects. I can just go on and on all day about this movie. I love it to death. I heard so much about it back in the day, but was unable to see it. It wasn't available on DVD. My video store, it was out of print on, even on VHS, and my video store didn't have it. I actually saw it for the first time on an Amazon exclusive VHS that they sold back in the day. It was just a yellow box that said Amazon, like, exclusive, and The Burning on it. That was the first time I saw it, and I was just blown away by the film. I've loved it then. I still love it now. I've seen it probably, I don't know how many times, just countless times, and I do think it holds up. I think it's a great slasher movie. As far as the Blu-ray features, the picture and sound quality, as with just about all of the Scream Factory releases, are really great. The sound quality in particular. The picture quality, there were some dark, grainy moments, particularly toward the end of the film, but nothing that was too, you know, nothing that was too abrasive. As far as the special features are concerned, I'm a little disappointed in the release. We have basically 3 new interviews. We have an interview with the editor, Jack Shoulder, which was actually kind of cool. We have an interview, very brief interview with Leah Ayres, and a brief interview with the actor who played Cropsey, and Lou David. Both of those interviews with Leah Ayres and Lou David, really brief, not a whole lot of detail really. Lou David's is a little bit more interesting than Leah Ayres because he kind of remembers a little bit more about making The Burning. He had a son that was born the day before he went off to shoot The Burning. As I said, the interview with Jack Shoulder was really interesting because he remembered quite a bit about the movie. Apparently, of course, this was the original Miramax film, the first Miramax film from Bob and Harvey Weinstein, and apparently they were as tyrannical as back then as they are now, and they've been, you know, famously documented as being kind of tyrants. But yeah, nice to know that they were always tyrants. So his interview, definitely of the 3 sort of new special features on the disc, is definitely the most noteworthy. We have a new commentary too with the actresses that played Tiger and geez, I forget the other character's name. I watched it for probably about 15 minutes and quite frankly got bored with it. There's 2 older special features that were on the old MGM DVD release that are carried over onto this release. Blood and Fire Memories with Tom Savini, great interview with him talking about all his recollections of the movie. You know, Tom Savini just has a great memory for all these films that he worked on. You know, back in the 70s, 80s, just has a great memory, and, you know, God bless him because he shot a lot of behind the scenes footage on VHS for just about every film that he's worked on, and The Burning is no exception. So we have a lot of great behind the scenes and you know, makeup footage and stunt footage and stuff that he shot or someone shot for him on the set of The Burning. His interview, like I said, is pretty cool. It's kind of interesting to hear that yeah, he and again, this was on the old MGM DVD release, so I mean, it's nothing new, but it's interesting to go back and rewatch it because you know, as we were talking about on the last episode of the Sausage Factory, the slasher movie Megasode, it's kind of apropos that I'm doing this review shortly after doing that show. We talked about how a lot of 80s slasher movies, the special effects guy was the star. You know, they were the star of the movie, and there was no doubt that, you know, Tom Savini was a big part of this movie's success. So Bob and Harvey Weinstein sent him out to promote the movie, put him on a train, didn't pay him a dime, just sent him on a train up and down the East Coast to promote this movie. Not an actor, not the director. The special effects guy went out to do all the promotion for this film. So that's interesting to hear. There's a commentary with the director Tony Maylam and journalist Alan Jones. I've listened to it actually twice, listened to it on the old DVD, listened to it on here. Really enjoyable commentary experience. Tony Maylam and Alan Jones have a lot of interesting things to say about the movie and the production of the movie, and the pre-production, and there was some issues in the editing room between the director and the Weinsteins and stuff. So very interesting commentary to listen to. We get behind the scenes footage, of course, from Tom Savini. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. Really, we get of the new special features on this, there's really only 3 that are noteworthy, and really only 1 that I would say that's really sort of worth your time, which is a little bit disappointing to me. I would have loved to have had a new interview with Tony Mayla, maybe even a new interview with Savini, maybe track down a couple of the other actors. I mean, I just want, for a movie that's this sort of, it's a weird movie because it's got a huge cult following, but at the same time, it's kind of, especially since it got its VHS release, it's got its DVD release, it's found a whole new audience and has gained a lot of steam. I would have just more. I would have just liked more. So when they say collector's edition with this one, I kind of, that's debatable as to whether or not this is truly a collector's edition. I think 3 really quite brief interviews aren't enough to call it a collector's edition, but hey, if you're a fan of The Burning, by all means, I think you definitely need to pick this up. Just don't expect the world, don't expect, I think, and maybe my expectations were just too great. I mean, Scream Factory has just been knocking these releases out of the park with so many great special features and such a great quality, especially when it's a collector's edition. I just expect a lot from it. So maybe my expectations were a little too high for this release, considering how much I love the film. But I don't know. I came away from it a little bit disappointed, and the collector's edition title, that's a little bit debatable. As with all collector's editions on Blu-ray, we have the slipcover with the new beautiful art there. Love that cover art. But this, the old school poster in VHS art, for me just can't be beat. I love this art. Yeah, just think it's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So yeah, anyway, that was The Burning, the collector's edition Blu-ray release from Scream Factory. A little disappointed in it. Still highly recommended if you're a fan of The Burning. So yeah, I mean, just that Raft Massacre alone, my God, in HD, with the master audio and all that, all the great nuts and bolts that are in this release. I mean, the Raft Massacre in HD with the great audio quality. Yeah, worth the price of admission alone. And clearly I've talked too long because I'm getting a little tongue-tied here, so I'm going to wrap it up. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed, and until next time, take it easy. Peace.